everything, we get rid of the gremlin so we can just start off without any problems at all. Apologies again for being a little bit on the late side, but as of right now, once again, having some issues where it comes to a little bit more in the audio department as our microphones decided to pack up on us real quick. Hang on one second here. Okay, so far so good. Looks like we are en route for that, and we are online. So looking pretty good for tonight. Again, it is Wednesday nights. Thanks for joining us on Twitch TV and Facebook. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick with a look at your forecast as we go through the next several days. Halfway through the month, no good news where it comes to anything in the way of rainfall. We are getting some sprinkles out there tonight, but really it's not all that much. And over the next couple of days, again, doubtful we're going to be picking up too much. Friday night is looking the best possibility in the near term for anything involving showers, maybe a rumble of thunder south of us at this point in time, but then we see the potential for some heavier chances of rainfall coming up as we go into around the end of the next week or so, heading toward Thanksgiving. Farther out in the future, that's where we see the potential for some more problems with rain right about the time everybody's getting going for the Thanksgiving holiday. If you've never tuned in here before, welcome to Weather Overtime. This is our online video weather blog, your opportunity to ask questions if you live in the area, want to know a little bit more about the forecast details from around here. We cover North Georgia, Northeast Alabama, Southeast Tennessee, and Western North Carolina. We're located, again, this is News 12 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So if you're stopping by for the first time, drop a hello into the chat function and or on Twitch, and then also into the comments section on Facebook. Would love to know where you're checking in from and what the weather's like where you are, so just give us a quick report there as to what may be happening. Taking a look around the almanac page for the day, again, we did manage to get some sprinkles out there. Wasn't enough at the airport for a trace, if anything actually fell there. So we do have zeros in the rain gauge for today all the way on through the entire day of Wednesday. So once again, technically another dry day, and unless we get some sprinkles to pop up right around the airport to at least give us 1/100th of an inch, not much of anything expected there. So that means we are now 2 inches behind for the year, and we are for the month, and also for the year we're closing in on 9 inches behind normal. We should be at 47 inches. We're only at 38 and a quarter, and for the entire months of September, October, and November so far, haven't even gotten an inch's worth of rainfall out of those 3 months. So that explains partially why we are so dry. And unfortunately, not much in the way of chances coming up, and we'll watch that here in just a little bit. The data gets crunched from Tuesday into Wednesday, and tomorrow the U.S. Drought Monitor through NOAA and the University of North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, will be issuing their latest Drought Monitor map and statement. Last week from Thursday, showing us again that parts of the News 12 viewing area in the Tennessee River Valley in a 5x5 exceptional drought situation. Not good news, again, for wildfire situations. Tomorrow, even though we did get a fraction of an inch like you saw on the rain gauge on the almanac just a minute ago, I really highly doubt that it's going to get better around here. Matter of fact, it may get worse as we see an expansion of that exceptional drought situation. So stay tuned. We'll bring you more about that coming up tomorrow as we see anything maybe happening our direction there. Greater Chattanooga Orthodontics bus stop forecast. Call it partly cloudy for tomorrow. Not as cool as it has been. Remember, that's an actual stop sign right there. Make sure that everybody's stopped, waiting for the kids to go across and get there safely. Let's make certain everybody gets to school and back home again safely. A little warmer tomorrow. Temperatures back in the lower 70s. Doubt we're going to see anything in the way of rain close to us for tomorrow. Thursday looking pretty dry. But again, toward Friday, we'll show you more about that coming up in just a little while. Got a few scattered sprinkles around the News 12 viewing area. Chattanooga here, Hamilton County, northern Georgia, western North Carolina, southeast Tennessee, and back into northeastern parts of Alabama. That, again, is our viewing area that you see, the counties that News 12 covers. Light scattered showers, a little upslope in the way of rain around western North Carolina and northeastern Georgia. Cumberland Plateau picking up a little bit of activity there. Most of that heavier activity, such as it is, all the way back toward Nashville and into Middle Tennessee. And beyond that, we just don't really have all that much going on across much of the area. Now, we may see the potential. Let me see if I got the wider range here. Okay, not that. Where did my visible satellite go to? All right, here we go. This shows a little bit more. You can see that swirl in the Gulf of Mexico. That is our area of low pressure, which is kicking up some of this moisture. The really heavy stuff is down towards South Florida, where they're looking at the potential of maybe some flash flooding going on. Again, seeing some pretty heavy amounts of rainfall down there. Desperately needed, no question about that, but continuing to see the dry air up here continuing to block anything in the way of rainfall. So all this rain is going up this direction slowly, but it's evaporating on its way down from several hundred to a few thousand feet up, which means it's falling into dry air, which means the water molecules are just getting ripped apart and absorbed into the atmosphere. So we're not seeing anything hardly in the way of rainfall. If you want anything in the way of decent rain, maybe enough to wet the ground and settle the dust, you've got to go south of Atlanta and Birmingham all the way down to the Gulf Coast, and that really is about all that we're winding up with. So that is going to be about it for at least a little while. We're going to need some help on that. Now, the good news, again, through tonight and into the next day or so, at least I think for now, is the fact that most of the wildfire threat, thanks to that rain and cloud cover down to the south, we are not seeing quite so much in the way of wildfires here, but back up to the north of us, from the Dakotas to the Virginias to the Midwest, lots of new wildfires in the bright red dots, yellow and orange indicating where the older wildfires have been. So past tense on that. And into the next day or two, if things remain dry enough, we may see more activity going on, but you can see most of our activity here, even close to us, are mainly up around Knoxville. Yesterday, all the activity was in parts of Georgia, so north areas of Tennessee in general, call it northeast, in that northeast quarter, showing the newly detected wildfires. A lot of what's going on in Arkansas and Missouri, a lot of that is due to burn-off of rice fields and other agricultural burn-off here, but much of what you see here into the eastern Kentucky, northern Tennessee, western Virginia's area is basically due to, again, those wildfires popping up from time to time. So we'll be expecting more of that as long as the situation remains very much on the dry side. And this weekend, excuse me, we could be looking at some possible problems out here. A mountain wave event may be shaping up to where our next storm system comes on through, and with the topography being so up and down out there, the high peaks and the low valleys, that can aggravate the winds coming through. So as we go into around Thursday evening, we start to see more wind gust potential well back to our west. Now, this is a broad, generic forecast, so we're not showing numbers on here for now. But again, through Friday morning, back into the Cumberland Plateau and Middle Tennessee, more potential of winds coming through the area with our next storm system. And then by Friday night, that wind gust potential really takes off into the western parts of the viewing area and then continues as we go into around early Saturday morning. So east of Chattanooga, that is where we're going to be seeing the potential for more breezy conditions across much of the area there, especially east of Chattanooga. Again, for right now, it does not appear to be a huge threat, but it does seem to be, again, shaping up to be a bit of a problem where it comes to heavy amounts of wind out across portions of the area. So we'll be watching that. Now, what we're taking a look at for now, we've got two systems, well, three technically if you count this one, over the Gulf of Mexico. This storm system making its way over toward Florida and kicking up some moisture with an area of a possible tropical system there. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. This is our next storm system here, diving in from the northwest. That's going to give us the potential of more showers toward about Friday into very early Saturday morning, but we don't see anything in the way of major amounts of rainfall. Wish we could say that's not the case. Now, our next storm system after that is all the way out into around the west coast. This system will be making its way across the country and giving us again the potential of some heavier amounts of rainfall and some travel problems into and around possibility toward about Thanksgiving, and we'll talk more about that coming up here also as well, so stay tuned for more there. Now into the next 24 hours, take it tomorrow morning, upper 40s to around lower 50s, and a few clouds around the area. 70s for tomorrow, plenty of sunshine coming through. And then we also see some cool temperatures starting off on Friday, high 40s to around the lower 50s. And then by Friday afternoon, around the time the kids are getting home, more chances of showers popping up. Heading out of the town, Friday night football. I don't know how much of this at this time is really going to materialize. This is one model's opinion. And remember that this is moving into very dry air. So yes, Friday night football, outdoor events, Friday night, getting out of the town. Very comfortable temperatures, no question about that, but we will be looking at the potential for more rainfall out there, so I would get the rain gear ready to go just in case, just to make certain. Now, by early Saturday morning, it'll be cool. We'll be looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies, and then by the time we get into around early Saturday afternoon, it's going to be a lot more comfortable. Temperatures lower, very close to normal for this time of the year. Plenty of sunshine coming on through, so looking very nice for around the area of Saturday afternoon. Sunday also looks good. We'll show you the 7-day forecast coming up here in just a little bit, so that doesn't look to be too much of a problem. Further on, that is where we start to see, again, the potential of some more problems coming up. This, again, is going to be a very broad brush painted forecast stroke here. So we get into Friday, again, that'll be our best chance of rainfall coming up in the near term. Saturday, Sunday doesn't seem to be a problem. Early Monday, we start to see what could be the next round of rainfall shaping up. Looking back to our west, we see a pretty broad area of low pressure. That is what we're looking at coming in from off the west coast. And a lot of cold air sweeping around the backside of this. So we could be looking at some winter-type conditions well back out into the high plains and parts of the Rockies. But so far, the moisture there looks to be a lot more limited than what we're seeing around the area here. Now that storm system, let me go back just a little bit. We start to see that system intensify as it hits the Mississippi River Valley, and that brings in some potential of some showers, maybe some thunderstorms down to our south and just off to our west, but we're still not seeing anything in the way of severe weather taking place. Monday, Tuesday, and very early Wednesday, getting into that biggest travel day of the year right before Thanksgiving. Light scattered showers left over, and then as we get into the big day itself, looking fairly dry as high pressure sets in, so not too bad where it comes to weather on Turkey Day, but we are watching back well to the west of us. Maybe some more chances of rain starting to shape up as we go from Saturday into Sunday, and also seeing again the potential for what looks to be maybe another system shaping up. Kind of broad area here, potential of something coming out of this, but for right now, that again appears to be the well into the future, almost 2 weeks worth before that takes shape, so we'll be watching this. So Thanksgiving looks good. It does look, honestly, as we watch that area, putting the long-range temperature forecast into motion, we see a brief burst of some cooler air there, but then some much colder air starts to approach as we go into Thanksgiving. So we could be looking at high temperatures much lower. So for Thanksgiving, probably no turkey on the patio, maybe, depending on how things wind up, but it is going to be, it looks like much cooler and staying dry. No sign of any winter weather so far, so definitely some good news on that for right now at this point. Jeff Peterson on Facebook Live checking in from Dunlap, taking a stroll around the golf course and can't remember seeing it so dry. Yeah, it's been a long time since I was back in Memphis that we saw conditions this bad a few years ago when the Mississippi River was about 10 feet below normal. So interesting to see that taking place again. Thanks for checking in, and thanks to all of our viewers on Twitch for checking in as well for tonight and keeping an eye on things. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and see. Let me adjust my cameras here real quick so that we can get a background for you. I forgot to do this earlier, so one more check here, and then we can show you a little bit more about what's going on. Cloud cover and a decent amount of sky shine above the area on our Island Cove Marina and Resort camera. You can see this, plus our brand new camera from the Chattanooga Zoo right before the Asian Lantern Festival kicks in tomorrow. So all those cameras available on our EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network page if you'd like to check them out at wdef.com/weather. Next couple of days, here's where we start seeing the potential of some rainfall again. Friday, that is where we see that potential starting off. Dry into the weekend, little if anything going on for right now. Kind of breezy again, that mountain wave action shaping up to where we could see some choppy driving conditions through the weekend. Monday kicking in the vacation schedules for a lot of people, and that's where the rain comes on through. Think it'll last off and on through Tuesday and into Wednesday, and that again is where a lot more people will be heading the road. But good news for us for right now, cooler, yes, by next Wednesday, but not seeing any signs of any winter weather coming through, and so far not seeing any severe weather, so we left those markers off the forecast, but much cooler, so be prepared for some much colder air north of us, and we'll be seeing temperatures going from the lower 70s to the lower 50s in about a week's time. So plenty of that to be going around as we head toward late November. See how things change. Stay tuned to News 12 because a lot will be changing with this forecast as we go into the course of the next several days. A lot of folks cannot get back home again. A lot of folks are heading out for the shift change, for the duty roster change in and around portions of the world. And we bring you weather where the troops are to be able to show what goes on around the world at various locations. Not getting a location temperature-wise here at Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti at the Naval Expeditionary Base. So hopefully we'll get a better view here. Sometimes we lose data, that happens, so unfortunately, well, it looks like Thule Air Base in Greenland is also not showing anything. So let's hop off to Iraq and see what's going on over in the Tigris and Euphrates Valley at just before dawn patrol on Thursday. Basra at 68 with mostly cloudy skies. A little cooler, cloudy in Baghdad. Najaf at the airport, 63. Al-Assad Air Base west of Baghdad in the upper 50s. Few clouds out there. And on Ankawa, I hope I'm saying that relatively correct, temperatures in the mid to high 50s there. Again, people have the duty roster with the military, so they have to fill in wherever the military says. But we like to bring this to you as a little bit of a reminder of being on the home front, not easy with folks around the world at the holidays at this time of the year. So this is just our little way of trying to say thanks for being a military family. Thanks for supporting your military member of your family, your friend circle, your loved ones, your relatives, whoever they are. So hopefully, again, we have covered some of the bases with some of the weather out there. We've got numerous locations around the world that we try to bring to you as often as possible from Veterans Day through the end of the year. So if you're on the home front and wondering what's going on where weather is concerned, keep it tuned to News 12. We'll be featuring a lot more of these as we go throughout the course of the next several days. Taking a look outside for right now, let's see current conditions just past about 10 o'clock. We've already showed you Island Cove Marina and Resort. From downtown, it was a little bit hazy on the Bailey's Heating and Air camera, but otherwise dry tonight, looking down toward the TVA building and right along between Market and Broad Street. Traffic moving along pretty well on the Plainview Outdoor Advertising camera at 153 and 64. Not seeing any backups or problems here as we look off to the southwest, but plenty of cloud cover out there. Traffic on I-24 moving. This looks like some construction going on and maybe a pulled over vehicle up on I-24 eastbound just to the north of the News 12 studios. Lights of Signal Mountain at the top horizon off into the distance. Taking a look at the from the North Shore across to downtown on the Chattanooga Theater Center cameras, brought to you by Speedy's Total Car Care. Again showing the potential out there for some cloud cover out there. Forgot to mention, thank you Patriot Concrete for being the sponsor of our News 12 camera that you just saw from downtown, and Speedy's Total Car Care for the Chattanooga Theater Center camera. Taking a look at the Tomahawk Crane and Rigging camera at 2475 Junction, South Central Chattanooga. Things looking very much on the quiet side and traffic moving along very nicely at this time. And once again, our brand new camera was lit up a lot nicer a few hours ago, but the Chattanooga Zoo camera featuring the Asian Lantern Festival. That, again, is our brand new webcam, and all of these available at the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam Network. If you'd like to see that, WDEF.com. Temperatures back in the lower 60s, winds light out of the north at about 3 miles per hour, so a pleasant evening and not much wind out there to drive any wildfires around. And unfortunately, we may be seeing more about that coming up as we go into the course of the next several days. I mentioned this a couple of days ago. Let me again go back and just remind everybody that now is the second severe weather season peak of the year. It may not seem like much. Again, the heaviest around this area for Hamilton County, tornadoes, the database from Mississippi State and the National Weather Service starting in 1883 through the present day, the worst month for tornadoes around Hamilton County and Chattanooga is April, with 135 tornadoes detected there, going down to a grand total of 1 tornado way back in history somewhere in September. Now, again, this is where we see just a little bit more of a peak of tornadoes. It's not much. It definitely isn't April, but it does show just a bit of a peak taking place here. So in our second severe weather season, it's important to know what needs to be done before, again, we get too far into a severe weather situation out there. So National Weather Service could use your help. If you'd like to be able to volunteer to be a Skywarn spotter and you live in McMinn County, Tennessee, in the News 12 viewing area, your training session is coming up in a couple of weeks on Thursday, December 7th, 6 p.m. at the McMinn County Courthouse in Athens, Tennessee. It's totally free. These Skywarn training sessions are paid for by your tax dollars and my tax dollars, and one of the best ways that tax dollars have ever been spent. So if you would like to sign up for this, and again, register for seating, no cost involved, just a formality, and just to be polite to make certain that the National Weather Service knows how many people to expect. So if they need a larger room, they can get that taken care of earlier. Go to weather.gov/MRX. This is taught by the National Weather Service in Morristown, covering part of the News 12 viewing area. And again, this teaches you what to look for and what to call back to the National Weather Service during times of severe weather. You become the eyes and ears of the National Weather Service out in the field. This is not a chase course. This is a spotter course. If you want to learn to chase tornadoes, great. Do it safely, do it smart, and start by taking Skywarn classes if that's what you want to do. Now, for those in Chattanooga and Hamilton County, your Skywarn training course will be coming up after the start of the new year, Friday, February 9th in the CHI Memorial Hospital area, 2525 DeSales Avenue. Again, please register for that at weather.gov/MRX if you'd like to know more about that. Now, I told you a couple nights ago, and I apologize for not getting this ready to go sooner. You can't make the sessions. Now, in the last couple of years, thanks to the pandemic, that was the cue for the National Weather Service to start online Skywarn training, and they did that with a modicum of success. A very neat idea to do that online. Several places have kept that, including the National Weather Service in Morristown. You can take a remote Skywarn training class. They still recommend you take a live in-person course when possible. So if you can do that, great. If you can't, Morristown National Weather Service, covering the News 12 viewing area, does have an online spotters course. You also, again, totally for free, you do have to register, but if you'd like to go to, again, Comet MET-Ed Meteorological Education, the courses that they offer are really amazing. They range from some hardcore atmospheric science, pilot training, how to read terminal aerodrome forecasts, and things like that. This is a basic Skywarn spotter training course that you can take online, and they still recommend that you take the course, again, in person from a National Weather Service, wherever you happen to be at the time to sign up for things like that. But basically, it's a basic spotters course online. If you'd like to know more about this, all you have to do is go to their website, meted.ucar.edu. That, again, is going to be your best bet for finding out more about what's going on with, again, the possibility of training for Skywarn and severe weather. It is a great opportunity to learn more, so if you have the opportunity to do that, it's really neat. Again, this is a very professional site, a lot of continuing education type details if you'd like to take a little bit more look about that. And the MetEd training site working together with the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research and NOAA and the National Weather Service. Sponsored also by places like the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia, the Meteorological Service of Canada, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Naval Meteorology and Oceanography Command. Really great site to go to. So meted.ucar.edu, comment METED Skywarn, and this is where you can take the training online. And we'll be posting this information as well coming up in the course of the next several days online, so stay tuned for more about that. But if you can't make it to a meeting and you really want to be a Skywarn spotter, this is a great place to start, at least, to go check out and see more about what is going to be available there. So please do so and find out more on that. Thanking our viewer from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Jesse Cook. A beautiful shot there of sunrise. That's our West Shore Home weather window picture of the day for Wednesday. If you've got pictures to share, we would love to see what you're seeing out there. So please let us know. Email it to us at pictures@wdef.com or just drop into the comments section of Facebook, X, and Instagram. Again, give us a short description. You can be anonymous if you want to. And we also post these pictures to our social media pages so you can see those out there very easily if you want to take a look and see what other people are taking a look at. All right, let's go real quick to the tropics and show you a little bit more about what's happening here. We've got one storm system down here. That's what these are for, these probability chances. 40 to 50% chance of development from this system. This is Invest 98L, if I'm not mistaken, and it looks like it's going to be heading off to the northeast, so a problem for Hispaniola, the Bahamas, and into the western Atlantic. It does not look to be at this time curving back to the United States. We are watching, again, ignore these numbers for this system. This is expecting a 10% development chance at best, so not seeing much of anything in the way of problems here, but this could be, as I've heard it referred to, as a nor'easter for the southern U.S. coast, where this thing sits off the coastline and the winds come in from that direction out of the northeast and dump a lot of rainfall. So this could wind up being a sort of a southern nor'easter in the next couple of days. We'll watch and see what goes on there. But from Miami to the Carolinas, I'd watch this system very carefully, even though it shows a low probability of actually developing into something. So something to look out for there. If you like something to do about the environment, this is a very easy site to go to. If you go to the site, it's called the rainforestsite.com, sponsored by Greater Good. You click on the big green button, excuse me, you view a few ads from a couple of sponsors, and then you personally can save about maybe a 3x3, 4x4 section of rainforest space, because the sponsors pay to own a piece of property in the rainforest that will then be protected and never, ever, ever developed. And when you consider that the rainforest is the lungs of our planet, and how much of the rainforest has already been slashed and burned for agriculture, for development on business and things of that nature, we're doing a very good job of smothering our planet by not being able to recycle pollutants and carbon dioxide and things like that. We need more rainforest, not less. And what we're doing is terrible, and it needs to be reversed. So if you'd like to be able to do this, head to the rainforestsite.com, click the big green button, and save some rainforest space by just viewing some ads. Great opportunity, again, to help out. It's a very simple system, and we'll be bringing you more of these links of the day coming up in the course of the near future, so definitely want to stay tuned for more on that. Have to thank Ms. Langford's class at Battle Academy. Had the opportunity to go talk to the kindergarten class about weather today. Had a great time. Got some very good questions. So Battle Academy Kindergarten, thank you very much for doing a good job and asking some really grown-up questions almost to see. Nice to be able to see that amount of science at that young of age. Reminds me of myself from a very long time ago. If you'd like to have us in your classroom, go to the Food City Weather in the Classroom program page and fill out the details at wdef.ucar.edu. wdf.com/weather. Give us some ideas about where and when a good time frame will be to contact you and to set up some times. Again, we are getting pretty filled up for the rest of the year, so please get your request in as soon as you possibly can out there. All right, from our Vote Now section at WDEF.com, at the Paniagua Auto Mall weather question of the day, we measure a lot of stuff in weather and meteorology. We measure, again, amount of inches of rain in a hurricane. We measure wind shear. We measure temperatures in the atmosphere from top to bottom and back again. We measure ocean salinity and ocean currents and amount of pollution in the atmosphere and all that type stuff. It's really cool to see how much data we collect. But when you talk about an interesting type of name for some of that data, what is measured in octas? If you've ever heard about that before, if you've never heard about it, kind of a neat little thing to look up. 100% of our votes today voted that octas is what is measured in what measures cloud cover at a particular location, and that was also the correct answer. So if you take a look at a weather map and you see again the circle that denotes the weather map, you notice that some portions of the sphere, the circle, are grayed out. They have, again, blackened portions in it to where it's like 1/4, that means partly cloudy, mostly sunny, half black, half white. That shows, again, that it's partly cloudy, mostly cloudy, 3/4 of the way filled up with black instead of white, and total overcast is a black circle instead of a white circle, and that's how you can tell what goes on. Well, that is, and how many octaves full is that sphere or that circle on the weather map, and that is what we use to measure cloud cover. It is called an octa unit. So if you'd like to know more about that or to vote in our next poll, go to WDEF.com/vote now, or again on our TV news, use your web phone camera to activate the QR code, and you can find out more. And we'll have a Paniagua Auto Mall question of the day, again, coming up for Thursday. Haven't set it just yet. It's not midnight, but we'll get that taken care of before too long. And, of course, you can get all this information we post to many spots out there, so find out more details available on our social media pages for more. Again, thanks to everybody for joining us. I think that'll pretty much take care of everything for tonight. So, again, thanks for stopping by, saying hello, and checking in with Weather Overtime. Can't believe we've been on 30 minutes for tonight. This keeps getting a little bit more in depth with everything going on. We'll be posting the repeat performance here again to our webpage, WDEF.com/weather, where you can also get our complete forecast. I'll have more coming up tomorrow afternoon and evening. Chip Chapman will have more details on his forecast bright and early Thursday morning. And, of course, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon and evening. And, of course, more coming up on the website at WDEF.com/weather. Live and direct from the News 12 studios in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. Thanks for joining us for Wednesday night's edition of Weather Overtime. The 15th of November, halfway through the month pretty much. Stay tuned for more with News 12, and we'll keep you advised. And don't forget to tune in tonight on News 12 at 11 for another update.